guys, but not the boss. And no one else.
Oh, my computer's gonna...
She was giving birth, and she had a C-section, right? So it's a very trippy experience because your wife is like in the operating room, and then I come in, and I'm in scrubs, and it looks like that episode of Drake and Josh. I'm just sitting there like, hey, like talking to the doctors, distracting them. I'm like, should I hold the leg? No. Oh man. Imagine being in here. And I kind of went through all these iterations, and then Vine dies, and then it's Instagram. I know, R.I.P.
Do you have TikTok?
No. I'm 32, I'm wearing dad shoes. Maybe I'll think about it. I'm not against TikTok.
Maybe it does.
Okay. Great, I'll subscribe. And so, and then I was so lucky when exploring YouTube to fall into my group of friends like David and Jason and Joe and the whole squad, because I literally got to learn from masters and people that are like the best at it. And so I just kind of hung out for like 6 months, and again, it was one of those situations where people they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm having a lot of fun creating every day and improvising and trying things, and not like praying that the casting director, recommends me to the producer, or sitting on a set waiting for like the lighting to change. And so it was, I've been doing it since I was 10. And so the idea of like sitting in David's, living room, coming up with an idea and shooting it in 30 minutes felt very pure, like kind of, yeah. So I did that, and I remember when I finally started vlogging, I was the guy with the camera on me in the middle of the airport, and I just felt uncomfortable because it wasn't me, and it didn't feel natural. And I did that for a year, and the views were hot trash, and people did not enjoy this. And I remember my buddy Joe, who I work with all the time. He's a gem. I love it. And I remember he said to me, he's like, why don't you try being in front of the camera? Because this is sort of how you made a living. Like, try that and just make jokes and be yourself. And so I was like, be myself. Okay. Well, I love chicken wings. And that's myself. And maybe I will invite Queen Trisha Paytas to eat chicken wings tonight. And we'll make a video. And we made the video. 4 million views later, I was like, I have found my lane. But it took a year of sort of falling on my face a little bit for it to reveal that this was sort of where I felt most comfortable. And obviously, like, I love doing these college gigs, and I love just trying to tell you guys funny stories. And the one thing that I always want to sort of share, if there's anyone here with aspirations to get into like media or film and television or anything in between, is like, it's such an exciting time, right? Because it's no longer where it used to be you had to be in New York or LA and know the right people and come up through the ranks. Like, if you can create content, you can literally do it in your room, under, as long as you ain't got like a 56K modem, you got some good internet service. But like, create content and make it affect you. If it makes you laugh, if it makes you cry, or anything in between, like, you truly have the power to find an audience today. And I think that's sort of the most exciting thing about it. I remember I told this story at another college once randomly. Someone asked about how we had met, and I said that I asked her dad for permission, and it was at that moment a girl stood up and said, "Boys, take note! Take note!" I was like, I'm terrified of you. She's like, go ahead, Josh. So it's a few days before I'm going to ask her to marry me, and I go to her house, and I'm talking to her pops, who's like, he's just like 6'4", he was a quarterback in the NFL. He's just like, yeah, yo, he's all man. And his name is Ken, which is super manly. And so I approached him in the garage, and we're like surrounded by tools and shit. Man shit, Gatorades. Variety of flavors. No, it's just red. And I was like, hey, Ken? And he's like, yeah. Whose voice goes that low? I was like, I wanted this is crazy, man. And he's like, what's up? And I said, I want to ask your permission to marry Paige. And he goes, oh. Well, I think that's great. You know, if she loves you and you love her, yeah, I think that's great. You have my blessing. The best, dude. And I was like, bet. And then I was like 10 seconds ago, it was fine. I'm like, we playing with like a screwdriver. Flathead. And I was like, how are you? And he was like, I can't do small talk with you right now. And then, so this, trust me, this sounds cooler than I really am, but so I was going to Paris. Like, cooler than he's cute. Josh Peck's so delusional. So I remember, I'm there, and I was going to Paris Fashion Week for a job, and I was taking Paige with me, and I'm nervous, and I had a feeling at this point that maybe her friends were a little bit in her ear, like, oh, Paris, it's pretty romantic. Perry. Shut up, Donna. You don't meet a lot of babies named Karen. It's just something I've been thinking about recently. Yeah, Karen. They just come out 45. Mad at the manager. So I'm like, damn, this is super. And I knew every day I waited to do it in Paris, to find the perfect spot, she would be like, this son of a bitch, can't commit. So anyway, I asked her the morning before we left in bed, which is her favorite place, and I woke up weary-eyed with eye gunk in my eye. I'm like, hey, want to do this? And she was down, so yeah. So now we're married, and yeah. What's she gonna do, right? If she wants to get rid of me, it's gonna be mad paperwork. So hopefully, things will stay together. Just to set the record straight, I've never met Queen Winfrey, Miss Oprah, but it would just be a great honor, and my character loves her. I love her. I remember the other day I was on her Instagram, because that's me, and it was her birthday, and it was so cute because y'all don't want to know what I'm like in private. And it was her birthday, and she was like, "It's my birthday," and she was eating this beautiful meal of just rosé and cornbread and something else, I don't know, some delicious rice dish. And she's like, I'm having 2 pieces of cornbread because it's my birthday. And I'm like, you have as many pieces as you want. You deserve it. Being inspiring is exhausting. Keep your energy up. But I do, and I head over to my car, and so I've been lucky from getting to work with everyone who I talked about tonight to people like Kevin Hart and Jerry Trainer and so I've been really everyone's like, do you want Max to be an actor? I'm like, why do you think I feed him so much? No, that's sick. But cute. I would say we're all in a rush. You know what I mean? And especially I remember at between 18 and 22, I was just in a rush to like start life. And I imagine like you guys go into this fine institution, you know, your education and all this. And I think the world sort of puts this pressure on us to like, okay, now you're equipped, get out there and like make your money and make your sort of stamp on the world. And what I would say is you have more than enough time, more time than you think, and to like get off your back and just kind of do your best as much as any of us can to sort of be in the moment, because this time will go really, really quickly. And yeah, and I just think it's it's easy with Instagram and social media to like everyone's out there living their fucking best life, drinking White Claws and just crushing the game. Like, yeah, there's a shortage, which is upsetting, and like just drinking White Claws and going to exotic places like, you know, I don't know, Turks and Caicos, or like, I don't know, Bali and shit, and you just like look at these pictures and you're like, I went to Cane's this morning for lunch. I went to Cane's at 9 a.m. And I got 2 toasts, and no one does that, but I do. And it's hard, man. There's like this crazy FOMO feeling of like missing out and like, what am I not doing? And what I would say is no one is living their best life, especially the people drinking White Claw. And like, it's all a fucking illusion. We're all a little bit sad and a little bit discontent in the best ways, but that's what being a human is. So like, feel it, embrace it, be around people you like, and like do the things that you love. Yeah. How funny would that be? Is this Zach and Cody gonna fuck with them? Don't bring up a Sprouse brother in front of me. No, they're both gorgeous men. I'm sorry. You have eczema. I'm your first call in an emergency. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, this school has what, big business program, nursing? You got any nurses in the house? Yes, I'm a hypochondriac, so I love that. I like being around health professionals in any respect. Even if you're like a janitor at a hospital, I'm like, but you could save me. It's like, no. No. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's this whole idea too. Recently, this professor Scott Galloway talks about it, and it's called the algebra of happiness. And there is a bit of a idea of like, yes, follow your dreams, go for the things that you love, but also don't be afraid to go for the things that you're good at. And it doesn't always align. And sometimes you could be like, yes, I would love to be a famous singer, but I also crush Excel spreadsheets. And like, while these things don't seem to correlate, because they don't, you know, cultivating the things you're good at is a great way to have something that if perhaps the great super dream doesn't quite work out, you can still fall on something that gives you security, that you can feel proud because you have this thing that you know you excel at, and get all like the cash and prizes that come from like being good at a job, and it gives you a certain kind of lifestyle. Yeah. So I would say like, don't be afraid to go for both things. When you get really tired as a parent because babies like are super needy and selfish, no. And like for the first like month or two, like, you know, we're all super parents, so we're all like, oh, can I get you equal human? Like very lovely. And then 3 months in, when they won't stop crying in the middle of the night, you're like, yo, son, go to bed. I'm exhausted. I'll be like, at one point I said to my son, 8th grade month old, I'm like, what's your problem? Why? Like, he cut me off in traffic. He's like, fuck out of here, Dad.
Our last audience question.
Yes.
Emily S. is, how did you master the soft smile, and can you teach us?
Ooh. Have I?
I'd say so.
What's a soft smile? I'm so confused. Who asked that?
Emily S.
Show yourself, Emily. Where are you? Is it wedding girl left? Emily. Hi, Emily. Hi. Will you give me an example and then I'll try to mimic it? Oh, thank you. I have an underbite. As a young, chubby boy in New York City, my mother could not afford orthodontia. So, one of the wonderful sort of, results of being lower class. I said, I've got this sweet, soft smile. So, and I'm sending one right to you. You have a great smile too.